So in today's video, we are going to talk about sleep and decisions of sleep. And this is really, really important because it's one of the 4 pillars of reversing PCOS. So this is the routine which I have written over here that I want you guys to integrate in your day-to-day life, but also understand where you are right now. So we need to go from where you are right now to where you want to be. So as cavemen, like if you look at our evolution, if you believe in evolution, but there is some evidence that we evolved from apes. So if you think about when we were cavemen, when we were living in the jungles and there was no house and bed, we were controlled by the sun, right? Like when the sun goes down, we go in hiding. We were not nocturnal animals. We would sleep. We would cuddle up, protect our kids, protect our food, protect our shelter, and sleep, right? And that was controlled by the daylight. We were programmed for that. Like that's our innate natural programming. That's how our genetic makeup is. But that's not what is happening right now. The first thing, like initially we had lamps, we had lamps, oil lamps, candles to give us light so that we could continue working a little bit longer in the dark. But then came fluorescent lights, and that fluorescent light kept us awake longer. That started making changes in our body. Slowly came the television, phone, mobiles. There's activity. It's like TV in your phone. There's infrared light in there. Our brain has like activity to do. It doesn't have to move around, but it's still awake. It has to work. Now there is social media on the phone. So there is not just activity, there is like proper engagement happening, or like the brain is occupied in something, it's awake. Even when some of us are sleeping, they're sleeping with the phone. So even if like you're saying that you're in the bed, you are with the phone checking your messages. And some of us would manage to get the routine, would turn off the lights and everything, phones away, sleep in bed, and still not fall asleep, and then still make it mean that you're not getting enough rest. Like just don't go in that deep sleep. So these are the current problems which most of us are having. Even if you're a student, someone who is studying for something, you have time only in the night, so you are awake in the night. So all of these issues are something which can control the sleep. What happens with PCOS is if you are not sleeping properly, if you're sleep deprived, if you're not getting adequate sleep, proper natural sleep, your insulin resistance worsens because your cortisol is high, the stress hormone is high. So when your stress hormone is high, cortisol rises, insulin resistance worsens, you become unfit to have a baby. That's what is happening. So we need to, even if you're eating healthy, but if you're not sleeping well, you need to focus on that. Now, if you're studying in the night time, then you need to really understand what your priorities are. Is your priority having a baby, or is your priority studying? These are very important decisions. Like I really had made that decision, like, you know what, when it's time to have a baby, I'm not going to study anymore because I'm going to fully focus on having a baby. That's what I did. Now, if you want to do both, that is also possible, but provided you know what you're telling yourself. Just recognize the excuses that your brain will give why you're not getting pregnant. Are you using your education as an excuse? So that's a different story. Bring it to coaching if that's something which you are struggling with. So I want you guys to focus on a bedtime routine. Like imagine you're back in the natural times, the caveman times. Dinner time needs to happen early, before sunset if possible, but that's sort of strange. We all are working or studying. There are a lot of activities happening. So 6 to 7 seems to be a reasonable time. I have done it. Even when working in shifts and all, I have managed to have dinner at 6 to 7. It's perfect. And imagine when you have a kid, you would want to have dinner routine at that time because the kid will have dinner that time, and then slowly the kid has to go to bed. The kids who are staying awake till late night, we are messing up with them. So probably our parents messed up with us because I used to be awake in the night, but we we now have our own senses, right? Like, we don't have to blame our parents for everything that happened to us. We have a human brain, a highly evolved human brain, which we can use to do whatever we want. So dinner 6 to 7, dim the lights, avoid the fluorescent lights because it's just so harsh. Start dimming the lights everywhere in the house. Start making the environment as if like it's time to go to bed. If you can put a candle, that will be great, and even the candle needs to go off. Be in bed by 8 to 9 p.m. Turn off all the devices by 8 to 9 p.m. Like that means TV and phone all away. Eyes closed 9 to 10 p.m. and hold the belief I'm getting enough rest when I lie down in my bed with eyes closed in a dark room. Because some people would manage to do this, but still will keep telling themselves that I'm not falling asleep. Now, even if you don't go in that deep sleep and you go into that awake sort of state, not a bad thing. Your body is still resting. Your brain is probably still on fire. And the best way to tell your brain to sleep is like literally say, brain, go back to sleep. We are sleeping. This is amazing. This bed is comfortable. I love this cushion. I love the way it feels on my body. I love falling asleep. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep. And you fall asleep. And sometimes you will not fall asleep. And that's what you live with. But you still recognize that your body has slept and rested whatever it needed. It didn't do any sort of activity. Even your brain was not exposed to any sort of activity. And sometimes you will sleep till late and not wake up on time. And don't beat yourself when that happens, because your body compensated for all the sleep that it needed. So trust that your body will always get enough rest that it needs.